Hi guys, I wanted to recreate this video so that I could use it for YouTube. I thought I was a little um, I just had some things I didn't think was super clear. So this is round two. So what I've done with this layout is I am doing weather sketching, and I'm going to create a year-long calendar using the ideas of color that shows what the weather has been from each day. So this is an idea that was originated by Julie Carriera, and I will link to her video and I will show you the layout that I made from her workshop, and also the information if you'd like to order the workshop as well. So this first layout is one that I used the sketch from Follow a Sketch in February 2024, and that is a group where people do a sketch each day in February. So I will show you how I made this layout. So the idea is that you take the weather from each day in January, and your layout will represent that color. Julie had made a color chart, and I am using a color chart from Idaho weather. She used her color chart from Canada weather, which is very cold, and Janice Gahuli actually made a chart using Australian weather. And I'm going to show you the chart, and I'm going to show you how you can adapt this layout and make your own. You can do your own weather scrapping and create a calendar that goes for the entire year. So I create a calendar for family members. I make each layout 2 pages, but one page goes on the calendar, and then I put the second companion page in a album, and at the end of the year I give them the calendar and the album, and then when the calendar is complete, they take one page off and slide it into the album. And it's a great way if you have everyone in my family does not scrap. I'm the only scrapper. So I'm creating 12 layouts, so it's not an overwhelming amount where we're going to take up their whole house with um, scrapbook albums, but it's enough to hit those highlights of the year. So here is how I designed the colors. So this layout is made from Twin Falls. The weather represents the weather. This layout represents the weather from Twin Falls, Idaho. I go onto the AccuWeather website, and I will link to that at the end of the layout. If I can't figure out how to link it, I'll put it in the comments because I'm not really great on all the technology. I am learning. I'm trying to do thumbnails, and every day I'm trying to add a little bit more. So if you bear with me. So the first day of January in Twin Falls, the low was 23 degrees and the high was 41 degrees. This chart, which is very similar, I did change some of the colors. Some of the colors had retired that Julie used last year. So I changed some of the colors. And at the bottom, there was a lot of brown. I'm not a great brown person, so I changed it to honey butter. Our cardstock from Close to My Heart, and I am a Close to My Heart consultant, our cardstock has 2 shades, and that is absolutely perfect for this project. So you don't really have to have that much paper to make these layouts. So the first color that I started off with, remember our temperature was from 23 degrees, which I'm going to put my finger on. So at 23 degrees, it's not quite up to 25, so that it gives us bluebird light side. Our temperature for this month ranged from, so on the first one, that's bluebird light side, I'm going to use the cold temperature. So I am taking the coldest temperature of the day, and I designed this layout using the coldest temperature. So on day 1, it was bluebird light side. Here is bluebird light side. I started on this side. I cut my pieces. My pieces are 3/4 by 6 inches. If I had it to do over again, I would probably do 7 or maybe even 8 inches and start at the top, because I worked so hard to put the colors down, and then you can see that a lot of the colors isn't showing. The other thing that I would do differently is I would distress the edges so that you could see where the break in colors are. A lot of times when you're going across, you can't really see the break in colors. But like I said, I am learning every day. And so if you are going to replicate this project, you might want to make your strips longer, and you might want to have some kind of, maybe even ink them. If you don't want to distress them, you could ink around them so that they stand out so you can see the difference of the colors. So the first day in January was 23 degrees. That was bluebird light side. There's my bluebird light side. The next day, January 2nd, was 19 degrees. So 19 degrees is in between the bluebird dark and the bluebird light. And so that I don't change my color until it gets all the way to 20 degrees. So that's my bluebird dark side. On the 3rd of January, our high temperature was 26 degrees, which is Capri dark side. So you can see that this is how it's done. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, all the way to 16. When I got to 16, there was a little bit of an overhang because at 3/4, it's not going to even, your colors aren't going to be even. So on that 16th day of January, my color was a -8. It was a -8 degrees that day. It was stinking cold. And for -8 degrees, that gave me sapphire dark side. So this is the sapphire dark side. I feel like that's, sorry, actually is, so that's this color right here. I think I made a mistake, but we're just going to go with it. It hung over a little bit, so I laid all of my pattern paper down and I trimmed it. So, and the same thing, I continued on with the second page, and I started from the 16th using my weather chart, and I went all the way across until I got to the last day of January, which was last day of January, which was the 31st, down on this page. It was Capri. It hung over a little bit, so I trimmed it off. So that's how I got my colors, and my colors are kind of like my paper. So I used, and I could have used, and actually on the next layout I'll show you from Julie's original workshop, I used plain white cardstock. But on this one, I had some leftover cards. I had this leftover paper. This has been in my stash. It is a close to my heart paper from a pack called Winter, and it is at least 15 years old. So it's a win-win-win, because anytime you use your stash, it's free, right? It costs you nothing because it was already in your stash. So that's what we call scrapbooking math. So I put my colors across on my page that I selected, and I was amazed. So this is a current color. This is Capri, and if you look at the color, it matches exactly. So if you didn't have this paper and you wanted to add it, you could do random stamping and create your own paper. That's an easy and fun thing to do. So that is one element of this layout, is the weather scrapbooking, where I use the colors and I designed. So when I look at this, and on the back of it, I could put if you wanted to use a flip flop, you could put you could take a picture. I actually took a picture of my key, and I'm going to put that on the back of my layout so that people could look and see what temperatures it was and how cold it was during that winter. And I'll just put it on the back side, because you slide the papers down, and that's how I'm going to do it. But you could include it in your layout if you'd like. And I might do that in future projects. So this is the January one. So I loved Julie's workshop, but I thought I do 2 calendars and I didn't want to make them exactly the same. So I thought I'm going to kind of do my own thing and I'm going to share that on YouTube. So this is a sketch for February 2nd, and it is for Follow a Sketch February 2024, which is a Facebook group. And she gathers up all these lovely layouts, which this one worked perfectly for what I was trying to do for my weather scrapping. So I went ahead and I decided I was going to do this. So this is the sketch that I used, and I followed it very closely. So you can see that this design is this design right here. And this design is from a Cricut. I have Cricut Access, and so I just typed in scalloped photo mat, and it came up with that. I adjusted it enough so that I could put my 4x6 pictures in here, and it looks very similar to that. I didn't use flowers. I used snowflakes, and these snowflakes are actually part of the workshop that Julie Carriera did. So she gives you the ideas and kind of and she gives you a layout, which I'll show you a little bit later. But she had these come as a design file, and so I put those on both my layouts. So that's what I did with this, and I added just some little bitty sparkles. These are the larger bitty sparkles. And another win for me was I had this. It's so funny. It's so old. I don't know if I have what I used or not. So I am trying to use up my stash. So I had this before there was Close to My Heart had. Oh, I'm going to show it to you. See if any of you Close to My Heart people remember this. This was called Glitz. So this was the original. I don't know what you'd call it now. What was it called now? Stickles. So before there were Stickles, Close to My Heart had this stuff they called Stardust Glitter Gel. I have had this in my stash for 15 years, and I put it on my my snowflakes to make them pretty, and I think they turned out really good. I mean, this is 15 years old, and it's still good stuff. I did that because I wanted to make it so I had all these strips, and I wanted to make them look finished. So this is shimmer tape. So on the bottom of this sketch, you can see they have a large scallop, and they have this. So I used shimmer tape instead of this, and I used this I made with my 1 1/4 inch hole punch. So I made my scallop with a hole punch. If I had it to do over again, I've said that several times already. If I had it to do over again, I would just cut these in half. I would cut them all up and then cut them in half because they're easier to line up and get them straight. So I put my strips down, and then I did my circle punch, and I lined those all up, and then I put my shimmer tape on the top. And this January was a design element that came with Julie's workshop. And so then I just added, you'll notice I have little spots on there. These are not my children. The ones where their faces all covered up, I don't mind. But I covered them up just so that they would, that's a privacy issue. I also used, this is retired, but I used the January stamp set. This is actually my friend's. I've had 2 of these month because I always do a calendar. And so when Close to My Heart comes out with their month-to-month stamps, I buy them. Except for this year, my last time they came out, my friend was buying them, and I thought, I already have 2 sets of them. So anyway, I used a lot of the fun little sayings, which I will be using, and Julie also used those in her workshop. So this is the layout, and this is the combination where I kind of took the ideas from the Follow a Sketch February Follow a Sketch, and made that layout. And so if you are just following the February follow a sketch thing, that's what I had for this one. And I wanted to show you Julie's original. So Julie's original workshop, and I will put her video. If you want to do weather scrapping, it is so fun because we talk about weather all the time. We should be scrapping about it, right? And that way you're not having to put it. It was so cold. You can just literally, when I'm pointing to this dark color and thinking it was 8 below, so we know it's cold. So okay, so the next layout, I'm going to just kind of take this out of the way, and this is the layout that I followed. That was like, ooh, the pictures are, I'm trying to cover those people up to keep their privacy. These are my, yeah, okay. Anyway, so this is the second one, and you can see this was Julie's original one, and she did strips across, and this is how this one worked. She started with one, so the circle is day 1, and then there's 15 strips. This is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, all the way down to 16. And then on the second page, she did 17 all the way down. And I included some stamping, for which I learned from watching Aaron and Julie's YouTubes. They use a lot of stamping on theirs. Oh, I did not take this stuff off. I also used, these were little acrylics that came with, I believe, Gnomes for Winter, and I just added some of those on, and I used my Glitz, my Stardust Glitz gel, glitter gel from 15 years ago. So, and this is me. Yeah, I do not like my picture taken, but there you go, if you're wondering what I look like. So anyway, I hope you will like and subscribe to this. I will be doing a weather scrapbooking layout. I will use Julie's that she did from her workshop, and I will have a spin of my own. So I hope you will join me. It's such a fun thing. I hope you'll visit Julie and Janice's weather scrapping, and have a great day, and we will all see you later. I do try to keep my videos less than 30 minutes, so I'm doing well today, talking a little fast. If you have any questions, please put them down. That will help me know what I'm covering well and what other things I need to slow down on and explain more fully. So have a great day, and it's February, so by the end of February, it's not too late to start this. Basically, you need 5 pictures from January, and if you guys are anything like Idaho, we had some really strange weather in February, so there's lots of fun pictures to take. Have a great day, and I hope you'll join me on my channel soon. Thank you.